Welcome back. You're watching Siasa Fiesta here on the Morning Prime, and we continue pace with the conversation. Looking at the editorial cartoons this morning, you can see how that punda is really suffering. Luggage piled upon each other, and punda amechoka. This is the Finance Bill 2023. This is the current reality now that is checking in as far as the Finance Bill is concerned, and Kenyans will be paying more starting next week, and even some, of course, of the bank loans are bound to be very expensive with the new 10.5% CBK bench rate that has been raised there by the MPC yesterday. Also, let's pray. This is how also Namukicha, she's praying. As you can see her piously there, but surrounded by a posse of goons from cancer, NHIF. It is the prayer of praying, not the real prayer. But you can see her in a very pious mood. This is in the Star this morning. We have also People Daily. Today is International Day Against Drug Abuser and Illicit Trafficking. You're reminded. And the economy suffers while these two issues continue to burn apace, as you can see. Illicit trafficking and drug abuse as well. You can decipher for yourself. This is according to Stano inside the People Daily. And we have the Daily Nation there. And it's a hot seat. That is the Finance Bill 2023, which the President has assented to right now, is an act. And Raila is fuming there as well. He's back to the streets as far as the Azimio coalition is concerned. That is what they want to do, to try and rattle the cage as far as Finance Bill 2023 is concerned. I'm holding court this morning with Senator Dan Mazo, Senator Makueni. Also, we have with us Tabitha Matinda, Senator Nairobi here, is nominated senator. We have also the Deputy Majority Leader of the National Assembly. This is Owen Baya, and Member of Parliament, Hoseme, Dr. James Nikal. So Nikal, we go back to the issue that we'd raised, and I think I like the discussion here because I think it's very symptomatic of what is happening in the counties. If the revelations that we're getting from Tabitha is anything to go by as far as the impress is concerned, and how monies they get pilfered within the counties, and the acrimony that has been there ever since between the governor and the deputy governor as far as running the affairs of the counties are concerned. This is just not new. I remember I had a conversation also with Evelyn Arwasa. She was there, the deputy or the chair of the Council of Deputy Governors, which has not seen even a light of day today. But let's just discuss from where we left so far.
Yeah, let me get from
just get a response. No, you have both sides of Tabitha.
Exactly.
And now you have a clear picture of how you can actually put your question.
Now,
or
simple. He comes in and is sold. The finance people will report to you because you have a financial background. These people are reporting to you. Even without structures, that gives you enormous power over the people who are handling money. So there, now whether you are structurally, you are a structure that gives you that power, you have it. These guys will report to you. They are aware. Now then, but that also gives you a responsibility over money that is used, including in your office. Because if you are going to oversight the people who are holding money, you must oversight them, even in your office. Then what happens? These same people are procuring a chair for you. I've been through it all. I know you have to. When they are saying, sir, we want to give you this chair, you say, normally they would give you samples of the chairs. We do this, we do this, we do this. Which one do you like, sir? You say, I like this one. Honestly, if you are a finance person, you will ask, how much does it cost? It will be unusual that these people come and give you all these nice chairs and you pick one. And then you say, I don't know what it costs. Normally, if you're really new and naive, you may just say, oh, do me a good chair and you go and sit on it. But that would be a completely new person in an office. So I find that a bit odd that you don't even know. If you are going on a trip and you want funds, what should guide people here? What are the regulations on how much money people are given when you are going out? It's laid down. So can the committee tell us that they actually went beyond the amount that is given. Because first of all, if you approve this trip, you must request a trip. If you have approved the trip, then the people who approve the trip, now from that point on, regulations kick in. Now, how much money will you give him? Because now we must realize we are dealing with a person who now has authority, even if not legally, but has been given by the big office to supervise these people. So you must be more careful, Dibal, with the money you use if you are oversighting money, because that sets a precedent for the people. I'll tell you, I was in a situation where I had to reject my invoice, my voucher. You cannot pay me that. I didn't do that. So if you then do that, they now say, okay, Mzee doesn't like this kind of thing. So even if you are giving you, if it's beyond, the committee doesn't tell us that it was beyond what he should get. If it was beyond, we'll hold him accountable, because you should know that that is it. Withdrawal of millions, now he's acting properly because he has been asked to oversight these money things. So if millions are moving out, then he should actually come and say, no, that should not happen. Did these millions move out as interest? Because interest is not just 50,000. Every institution puts interest according to its daily use. I mean, if you're running a small petrol station, your interest may be about 20,000, 40,000. If you're running a whole ministry, your interest may be a little larger. So every institution will put their interest that is known. In this institution, we don't use interest beyond this. In government, you will even find that. Did the committee look at this? So that still leaves us, at least I'm here. Then talking in funeral. When you hold certain positions, what you say in public is important, because otherwise you'll be reckless. So we don't know the details of this. So having said this, I don't have conclusive evidence, but you get to find that Dual probably was not being as careful as he should have been in the position he was holding. But to me, at that point, I can't say he's guilty or not. Then I come to the issue. You have a committee. A committee takes days. It gets convinced. It makes a decision. This goes to the plenary. The plenary takes minutes or a few hours and comes with a totally different decision. How is it?
From the committee.
How is it the committee that took so much time ignores so many things that the plenary can pick in just hours? Politics comes in. Politics is a reality.
Good. I thought Senator Manzo answered you on that.
Politics,
if you hold with his view.
Yeah, politics is a reality. Then I ask, in this situation, where does politics act? We are all in committees. He'll tell you, when we are in committees, we are more rational than we are in the plenary. Politics, power plays larger in the plenary than in committees. Committees, we can say, my friend, this is this. So, with the limited information I have, I think politics must have played the game.
All right. Let's hear from Senator Tabitha, because you are swinging on both sides of the pendulum, from the committee to the plenary. Do you agree? Why did you change tone when you went now to the plenary?
Dibal, actually, I didn't change tone. And from the beginning, from where we
you as a person, maybe it was a different account of a committee and the plenary.
No, it was the same. From the beginning, all these allegations were not substantiated from the beginning. But I want to help my brother, Dr. Nikal, on the two issues of the chair and the ISPAC issue. As even my colleague has stated that these charges were dropped. There was no enough evidence. Dr. Dual, the deputy governor, did not participate in the procurement. So those two, it's okay, they were dropped. The two issues that were voted, substantiated by the 6 members were issues of the misleading of the public, as you've put. But now, there are two issues that are coming out here. The issue of the pending bills. Pending bills, like any new government that comes in, especially when new governors take in, or even mostly the new ones that take in, because the ones who have been there and they are incumbents, it's a bit different because they are familiar with how everything has been running. So out of this, definitely you realize there are pending bills. And in most counties, they have put what we call a pending bills committee so that they are able to guide. You know, we've had corruption issues whereby we say paying hewa, you know, something that was not supplied. So this committee is there to be able to verify that these documentations are genuine. So Dr. Oduol, the deputy governor, sat as the chair, as appointed by the governor himself. And in the beginning, it was just smooth. They were moving well. Now, what happened, that's what I'm saying it's so political, is because the county assembly took this in the negative way when he had emailed and said, these are the bills that we've agreed on as a committee, not him as Dr. Oduol, but as a committee, that maybe X number of people should just be paid. It was something open. But they used this to say that he has taken his own favorable people to say that this one should be paid. Remember, it's not the one paying. It is advisory out of the discussion of the committee.
There was no committee report.
There was a committee.
The pending bills committee.
Of course, there were minutes, there was everything, there were minutes, everything was there. But I'm saying the county assembly used this to be part, which was not actually something to substantiate. And then, as I want to agree with my colleagues, it has come to a point like deputy governors are used as flower girls and flower boys. It is so rosy during the political process when they are campaigning and all that. That time it is good, it is rosy. But when they get to office, then they have no roles. And actually, I want to appreciate the governor in the beginning because he had given his deputy governor roles, which is very good. And that's why even I remember at some point Senator Maanzo asking, is there a possibility of when if you go back, you can be able to amend and work with your governor for the sake of the people of Siaya? Because Swahili say, when fahari wawili wakipigana nyasi yaumia, you know, and the people then of Siaya will continue suffering because the bulls are fighting. So I remember Senator Maanzo asking that, and when us as Senate, one of the recommendations was it is a high time that deputy governors, their roles need to be stated. What has come out in light and is that they go to the offices, read newspapers in and out. They're just there. When the governor is not there, they have been sent, represent and all that. But they are not actualizing in terms of the achievement, the manifestos of what they put in place during the campaign period. So these are some of the issues we were bringing out in our recommendations. Now, the other thing, this issue of the impress is a very sensitive issue. As we speak still in Siaya County, this is a matter that is still alive because this was what opened the can of worms. As I've stated, under the PFM Act, that capping of the impress is guided by the county assembly. Because I agree with you that every institution has its own expenditure and cap and depending on it. So it's like you see like a case like in Nairobi. Of course, Nairobi is very big. Like places also in Mombasa and all that. So you can't compare these places with the other counties. So there has to be a cap. But what was not coming out was how much was capped. Because the withdrawals that were in place. And remember when the finance officer was reporting and briefing the deputy governor, that is how the deputy governor was able to get this information. And then at that point, when he started asking, where are these funds going? What are they for? And it's at that particular point that there was blackout. And sort of, he said, everybody now started not talking to him and he could not get, he had nothing.
So
and
that he was supposed to be seeing nothing.
Did those monies
do
move?
nothing?
Yes, they
say
moved.
Nothing.
Yes, Mheshimiwa,
All right.
moved.
Let's say from
transfer.
Yes, from the CRF
is
account to the
auditable.
impressed account.
It is auditable.
Yes,
you
it
can
is
audit
auditable.
and show it went to what work. So you know.
But the amounts were too huge. Why not then pay via a check? Me and you know very well, when we have parliamentary trips or anything, your money is transferred directly to your account. You don't go and you are given by the account cash like this. Then why not transfer to all these people that you're supposed to transfer?
Right.
If you're making
Counties work
purchases,
differently.
why not
Like if you are
transfer
doing
the
public
funds?
participation, you know that there's a list. You move to a certain account, withdraw. There's a list of the people who have come for public participation and how much their reimbursement is. So it is all traceable and it is auditable. And very soon it will come back to the Senate. and the truth will come. What I know is ESCC has also its work to do, because they have also reported to ESCC. And unfortunately, ESCC has failed the country because it is not large enough, well supported, and has not been funded properly. But ESCC now should be giving us answers where there are gaps, where somebody has committed a crime. Obviously they will be tried and somebody will be convicted in a court of law. So it is not over. Senate has just done its bit. The matter is already before ESCC anyway.
So let me
we need to wind up on this. I think we've beaten it to the ground.
Just a second, because Dr. had asked a good question. How come the committee was able to give and then the plenary? We are guided by our standing orders, and standing orders clearly indicate if the allegations are substantiated, then that is, and he is impeached, then it comes to the floor of the House. If it's not substantiated, that like Kawera's case, it was not substantiated and there was no voting. So these things are within the standing orders.
All right.
I just want to say this.
I
want to say,
just a moment.
I want to say this.
Political.
One, who is William Oduor? That's the first question that you need to ask. He's run for Siaya governor before. He is a potential threat to the current governor, and that is a fact. And maintaining him there as deputy governor and giving him an opportunity.
That's what we're saying. Is it political?
An opportunity to be there for that. It threatens the status quo and threatens certain political arithmetic within not just Siaya County, but within the region. You know, Siaya County is also home to the big guy of ODM.
Yes.
And therefore, controlling who comes up and who goes where is very important.
And where does Kenya Kwanza stand on that?
That's how Kenya Kwanza came in.
I'm coming. And therefore, you see, William Oduor needs to be moved out of office by whichever means, because he is a threat. He's a threat. And the people of Siaya, if you look at the voting, the people of Nyanza, if you look at the voting in the National Assembly, the pattern that is changing, you see there is kind of a silent revolt. And therefore, young people like William Oduor, who have the potential and probably the financial muscles, you know, to outplay the other big guys, need to be put in their place. And this is part of the scheme. James Orengo is a good politician in Senate and in the National Assembly, but he cannot run a county, and we are proving it. He is not a manager. He is a good politician.
Who is we that are approving?
Kenyans have seen it. Kenyans have seen it. Kenyans have seen it. And therefore, for me,
now we're discussing politics.
Yes, just a moment. Let him finish. We wind up with this.
And now,
Dan Manzo, you need to crown it as well.
Orengo must come out and put his political foot down and say, this guy could be good. This guy could be good for this country, but he's a threat to status quo. And therefore, we need to sacrifice him as early as now so that he never rises again. We saw the same case with the current leader of minority, when he challenged the status quo in Siaya and said he wanted to be governor. You saw what happened to him. He was put down and told he cannot. People control what happens here in Siaya, and therefore it's only James Orengo who can become governor and not Opiyo Wandayi. And Opiyo Wandayi had to give in, you know. He had ambitions. And many people in Siaya and South who have ambition, that ambition cannot grow because they will not allow the status quo to be upset. And that's why today we see Senate being misused. Yes. The attempt to misuse Senate to attempt to achieve a certain position within Nyanza. I am happy that Senate voted the way it voted, that we must put a stop to misusing Senate or other public organizations for political reasons. And I'm happy that Kenya Kwanza took that decision to uphold the Constitution and say every Kenyan must be given a fair chance at the position they are, and so that they are able to ensure that political nascents, those that have ambition, should be given an opportunity. And that is what Kenya Kwanza stands for. I wouldn't have been deputy leader of majority in the National Assembly if it was just for my name. and nobody knows my father's name beyond my village, you know. But here I am, I can sit in National Assembly and run the affairs of the government in National Assembly, just because as Kenya Kwanza, we give an opportunity to every person, so that they grow, so that this country, we don't just revolve around 2-3 families. We need to change politics, and William Odol is the next big thing in Siaya.
All right, Dan Manzo, you don't see that because...
I have one sentence. Simple. You have summed it up. Kenya Kwanza has to make Odol the big thing. That everything else falls on that statement.
As long as there's no evidence.
To my view, the attempt, let's even assume there was an attempt. There's an attempt at committee level. Then when you come to the plenary, it must be stopped. So that's what I'm saying. And these technical details, you see, they're still actually not enough to make a decision on. So I think in this whole thing, whether you start from the committee, you go to the plenary, politics, make the decision.
Dan Manzo, you want to finalize it? We move to other issues as well.
I want to say first and foremost, all these matters which had been raised before the Senate.
Yes.
First of all, it was a case between Siaya County Assembly and the Deputy Governor, and they had impeached him on 4 grounds in Siaya. When they came to Senate, we were able to substantiate 2. Most of those matters have also been taken up by ESCC. ESCC has been to Siaya County. It is doing its investigation. I believe it should do a good job professionally. So the matter is not over technically. Now politically, politically, you know, it is Kenya Kwanza's political interest in Nyanza which took over, evidently saw the matter of Oduol and rescued him politically. Therefore, Kenya Kwanza cannot come here and say Governor Orengo is unable to run the county. The county is run it's not run by an individual. It has a cabinet.
But the buck stops with James Orengo.
Yes, it has a cabinet.
When a chair of 1 million is bought, the buck stops not for who the chair was bought for, but
with the executive.
Executive.
That's
whose
why
head is James Orengo.
It's good I gave you a chance to talk. That's why ESCC is already in the county to find out what happened. There's a procurement team, there's a procurement procedure, there's a procurement law, and I believe whoever purchased the chair, it was not purchased by James Orengo as a governor. It was not really purchased by the deputy governor, but the deputy governor was a user.
It was purchased for the deputy governor.
And he's a user. For the deputy governor, and he's a user. And not only that, there was office renovation for Kenya shillings 18 million, which is under investigation. So
which James Orengo approved.
Well, there's again, it's a procurement.
Do you know the chair that
I was wondering, yes. But indeed, no, it's a good question, because you want to tell me there's a certain figure of course expenditure that has to be warranted from the executive,
yes,
and that is the governor.
Yes. You know, finally,
when you're talking about interest, you know, yes, there's a threshold. Maybe that doesn't need the eye of the governor, but there's a certain threshold that if procurement will even go beyond 10 million shillings, then within the expenditure of the county, it has to be approved by the governor.
We don't mislead our viewers.
I'm just asking.
You see, what happened is this, there is a procurement, everything is being taken back to procurement, and the procurement must take responsibility. That's why the governor has invited ESCC to investigate, and I would do so in the same position. It was alleged
then Mazo, I just wanted, because even my background is procurement, and I know very well there is certain threshold of expenditure.
Yes.
Even within a company, that even the board has to come in.
Yes.
Yeah. That it doesn't have just to be within the remit of the procurement office, or maybe the CEO. There is a certain expenditure that now the board has to sit approve, because this is an eye-popping figure and it needs.
And that's why.
And it starts from the budget.
And
the budget.
It starts from the budget.
And that's why they had to
First
go
of
to the
all, the
county
renovation went beyond what was budgeted. Because
who approved the budget?
The budget was 5 million shillings. And without approval, this is where now the bulldozing was coming in, that the deputy governor bulldozed beyond the budget cut lines. And that's why ESCC has been invited. And that's why there was impeachment. And therefore, Kenya Kwanza has come to rescue a messy situation for political interest.
Okay, so
and therefore, my conclusion is Kenya Kwanza supports corruption.
Jibal, 1 second. 1 second on
As
it.
we wind up, I think we've beaten it to the ground almost 2 hours.
Kenya Kwanza is forcing this deputy governor to sit in Siaya so that there's a political mess for their own benefit.
A simple question.
They have said as much.
Does Dr. Nikal and Senator Manzo, do you know the cost of the chair that you sit on in the House?
In my house?
No, in the Assembly, National Assembly and in Senate. That chair, the red chair that we sit on, do you know the cost?
Do you remember it was procured before we came in?
It's okay, but you're sitting on it.
I don't know.
Thank you, that's enough.
But
no, that's it.
What's the point?
The point is that you cannot say the chair was bought for the deputy governor. It was bought for him. So he's sitting on. Do I know the cost of this chair right now?
Now I can see why the committee couldn't get, because you know, when you have near truths, the most dangerous things are near truths. They're worse than lies. Because if a chair is being bought while you are there, surely your attention will be arrested. If you come and find a chair that has been there for years on, you are less likely to go into it.
The point is, you do not buy, you are not involved in the procurement.
You say,
when you're raising the requisition, of course,
he did not raise a requisition.
He did not raise a requisition.
No. He did not give specifications, no. He just said they did the renovations in terms of the floor was chipping off and all that, if you could have a chair.
No, but I'm just asking, just in the beginning of the process of procurement and you're raising the requisition.
There was no requisition in terms of this is what I want and everything, in terms of the furniture. What he said was renovation. No, he did not.
In writing.
No, he called in the chief officer and said, this floor is chipping off, can we get tiles and some painting and this and this? That is it. Can I get a chair and a desk? Can this be? That is it.
And this is a man of financial background who has been asked to oversight financial issues.
Yes, and the table and the chair are presidential. They don't belong. And that office used to be used by a governor.
How do you quantify this? The table is presidential.
You see,
is it written?
I want to disabuse one thing. You see, Dr. Nyakal probably comes from the 2016 procurement law. You are earlier than that.
You
see, the procurement law then was different from the one that is.
What is the difference?
There. You see, before you would be asked, guys would go and shop for chairs, and they would say, "No, I want this one. Go and buy this one." Okay, it doesn't work that way these days. Because that means you are interfering with procurement. Because you have...
That's what happened.
Listen.
The user.
No.
The user.
No, that one doesn't
apply. Dr. Nyakal has been a permanent secretary.
Yes.
It was not involved.
You see, if I want to buy a chair...
He was the user.
Today in government, if you want to buy a chair...
The user has a final say as far as, because he's the one who's going to use this chair.
But he was not.
And I know the cost of seats in my house.
How do you make the specification?
Okay.
He did not. There was no official document for specification.
All right. I think now.
nothing.
Okay, we need to wind up this debate because now we've already passed the Rubicon. Isn't it? Yeah. So as much as we'll be debate about it now, it's already happened.
Anyway, it's before ESCC.
And
we are trying to do the work for ESCC.
So this is a ESCC matter. Let's not re-prosecute
the procurement.
You generate the procurement specifications, and you say, I want a chair that looks like this.
It will be another procurement session and class that we don't have to go to right now. I want us to just go to the UDA party politics. Briefly, because I think there's something simmering within UDA, and the majority leader will tell us what is happening within UDA right now, especially with the wrangles that we were talking about, the cause scenario that we had with Omar and Muhammad Ali. Let's just listen to what the Deputy President had to say.
Barely a year into power, the ruling party United Democratic Alliance is facing internal wrangles, pitting members and a section of the interim officials installed by the top leadership. Wrangles that have seen chaos erupt in Marsabit and Mombasa County during the grassroots mobilization to register members to the party, steered by the party's Secretary General Cleopas Malala.
That is a very positive thing, it's not negative. You know, many people think it's a negative thing. People only fight for a popular party. All these other briefcase parties, nobody is bothered about them because nobody even knows about their existence. So the more vicious leadership wrangles are, the better for the party.
Incidences that prompted Deputy Party Leader and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to convene a meeting Monday at the party headquarters, as he says he will be taking a more prominent role in running party affairs from the headquarters.
I have told the Secretary General that I'll be here once every week to chair meetings, to get briefed on party activities, as I allow President William Ruto to focus on the economy.
The wrangles coming at the time the party is gearing to hold its first election of party officials from the grassroots to the top leadership. A section of members have raised concerns about how the party is handling its activities during the period, some singling out the Secretary General Malala, threatening to institute his removal. This even as DP Gachagua expresses confidence in Malala's leadership.
UDA is a democratic party. And, there is a word, it's United Democratic Alliance, not the word democratic. So it is healthy, and we encourage people to criticize the Secretary General. I've been here, I've told him a few issues I think he should correct, and it's only that I've not corrected him in public. But even if he is corrected in public, it is in order. Everybody must be accountable. Cleo Malala must be accountable to the party members. If there are certain things he's not doing right, he'll be called out and he'll be held to account, and he must improve. And if he doesn't improve, we'll kick him out. That is what this party is all about.
In the run-up to the 2022 polls, the party leadership had indicated that they will hold elections by March this year, but that was later postponed indefinitely.
We'll announce a date. We also don't want to raise the political temperature. This is a very popular party. If I announce a date today, there will be no work going on after today.
Jeff Kirui, KTN News.
Well, you may remember that also ANC had raised scruples on how Malala just bolted from their party to UDA, and there were concerns that UDA is trying to gobble up the other parties to be a larger super party machine as it is. So did the questions regarding Malala's leadership began there? How did he get to the party now to be the general secretary? And why will also the president or the deputy president be micromanaging the secretary general? Is there anything, something really maybe simmering underneath within UDA party? Owen, but you need to tell us what is happening first of all.
There was a fake membership card. There's printed membership cards. I mean, how fake can this country get? Malala himself was always saying this is not from our party.
I want to tell you this. Managing political parties in this country is an uphill task. And all political parties will have their issues. And you can hear what our deputy party leader is saying, that every person in the party must be held to account. And party members have a right to voice their concerns about the party. And that those that have been given the responsibility to run the party should be accountable to the people. And I am sure in the boardroom, our deputy party leader was not very friendly as he seems to be here on TV. I think he told them as much, that we want accountability, and all these issues that are being caused are unnecessary. For me, I see what is happening in UDA, the party headquarters, is unnecessary. We need to stabilize the party, and for us to stabilize the party, we need to reduce political party activities right now as we try to build the country. This is a ruling party, and if wrong precedents are set at the ruling party, then you even have more problems with other smaller parties. So, like I said earlier on, I think we must call out Malala on this. The problem in Mombasa was unnecessary, completely. Muhammad Ali is a gentleman. Hassan Omar is a gentleman, and they have worked together very well. If there was a pair that was unbreakable during the election, up to the election time, even, the election in Mombasa was delayed, the governor race was delayed. And I remember I went there, and Muhammad Ali led the troops to ensure that we clinched that seat. We lost it, but you could see Muhammad Ali's commitment to ensure that we win the gubernatorial seat of Mombasa. And you could see the camaraderie between him and Hassan Omar. But you see, when now a party, national party officials come into the scene and try to pit one, like now you have this number of slots to bring this number of people to the meeting, this other guy has this number of slots. So you bring friction and people say, no, why am I having more and why am I having less? Unnecessary things. All the people in Mombasa belong to UDA. There are no Hassan Omari faction and there's no Mohammed Ali faction. There's nothing. They're all UDA members. But today, if Tabitha and I were in the same county and you say, oh, and invite 100 people, Tabitha invite 50 people, you've already created a problem between the two of us. You know, and that is actually how.
But it appears that is just a standoff or a
Yes.
standalone matter that happened in Mombasa. But
Yes.
there are the confluence of issues
Yes.
that are maybe contributing to now Malala's being questioned about his leadership as a general secretary.
No, I think
What-
we said it that
His pronouncements, even regarding now, you know, sort of rating the cabinet secretaries and the PSs, going about the
it's
country,
not the
taking a
first-
straw poll.
He had, I think when he came to power, when he came to office, I think he made another statement earlier on that other small parties must wind up and join UDA. Remember, I don't know whether you remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I remember, that's why I said
He made that kind of statement. But also, we are all here not strange to Malala. When he was in the Senate, we saw him as a senator of Kakamega.
Kakamega.
We saw him when he was even in the county assembly. He was Speaker of the County Assembly.
So you know.
So,
But why the proclivity
but
then to
we-
have such leaders also in your parties?
No.
Not only just in the parties, but other ministries as well. Leaders
We are
who
giving-
actually.
was poached.
we are
he was
giving
poached.
him, and he's a good guy. Malala, by any standards, he's a good guy. He only needs to grow. Even my brother here, Senator Manzo, when he started, he's the guy who stole the ODM
I never stole
ticket
it. I registered it.
and gave everybody.
ran away with
the certificate, you know, and he caused the split. He caused the split to
ODM
ODM,
Kenya
and
and
ODM
ODM.
Kenya. He caused it. You know, he was a young man then. He was still trying to find his bearing. You know, but now he's a solid guy. So Malala has the opportunity to grow to be a solid guy. And that's why, as Kenya Kwanza, we will grow him. We will correct him here and there. And that is why the deputy president is saying he will be here to guide him. Eventually, he'll come out as an astute secretary general and a politician. But everybody needs to be given the opportunity to actually grow his skill. And that is why we think Malala will one day become that party secretary general that will be a shining example of how a party secretary general is. So we have a good example.
So in the
of
meantime,
our
he continues
honcho
to be a
here.
wreck ball. He continues to be a wreck ball within the party. Let's hear just from you, Tabitha.
Yeah, thank you. Let me start from where you asked them how UDA did put their leadership of the party. And I want to state that the president, who's the party leader, is very universal and very fair, because what happened with our structure, it was diverse. The chair of the UDA party is currently the Cecily Mbarile,
Yes.
who comes from Embu County.
Yes.
Cleophas Malala, who comes from the Western.
Western.
We have the vice chair,
Kakamega.
Hassan Omar,
Yes,
from Mombasa, or the coastal region. The treasurer, Omingo Magara, organizing secretary Kawaya, who comes from Eastern. The whole
treasurer is
concept.
Nyakundi.
Nyakuni, yeah.
Yeah.
Omingo
Just-
Magara, I think
Jafo.
Oh, sorry.
He's from
So-
Kisii also.
It's okay, thank you.
Yes.
he
So,
defected.
yeah, sorry. In that regard, you find that the true picture and plan for Kenya Kwanza and UDA as a party was to fairly diversify in such a way different regions, they are all represented. Now back to the narrowing of Cleophas Malala. Why did I mention the others? You find that we are not having issues that are coming about, but we're having issues. And one of the key roles of like any SG is to be the voice, the piece, to communicate and to give good directions and all that. But as I agree with my colleague, you find that what the sentiments that really came from the beginning hit us. And we had to explain then, why are you just telling everybody fault? It's like they're not existing. But as you see right now, that did not happen. We came in through leadership and we were able to calm that off and say, let us give people time. Let us continue building our house. It is a very new house still as UDA stands. And it needs to be held very strongly. Its foundation, its leaders matter. We do not want to go back to where Jubilee is today. Now, Mombasa issue over the weekend. We have to appreciate that we have leaders like the Vice Chair Hassan Omar, And the list that we have leaders, of course, the Commissioner Mohamed Ali. We have him, is in leadership. The least that can happen is you first sit with the leaders down. There's nothing so out old of that. You just need to sit with them, give them the plan. According to them, what we hear is that they were not aware that this function was to take place. It came in the last minute, there was a rush. So as a leader, he should be able to know that he represents a national position. And so everybody matters, because our ideology is based on the hustler, bottom up. So everybody needs to be involved. And I can tell you that the people really played a very key part in ensuring that we have the presidency in this country. So the position of Cleophas Malala should be a position whereby it's all inclusive, and he should learn from the president, whose mandate is to ensure that there's inclusivity. As I sit here, it's not about my last name, where I come from. It's about how I was able to show my competence, and that's how the party was able to give me this particular position. So Cleophas should really appreciate that he's the SG and ensure that he involves other leaders massively, inclusively, to be able to soldier on, because our common goal is one, to ensure that we have our people all together. There are no people for UDA who are UDA, it's called what? Level 1, yes. UDA level 2, UDA, they are all Tier UDA 1. Members, Team 1, because we have a common goal of ensuring that, one, this party is strong. 2 is also to be able to understand the issues of our people at that grassroots level. So back to the Deputy President. Let me appreciate the Deputy President, because like any other leader, what you do when you also see your kids are having issues, you come in and be able to talk to them and address. He has moved in very fast. I appreciate that. He has gone to the party and said, given that calmness, that don't worry, if there'll be issues, we'll be here every week so that we run things step by step so that we are on the right footing. Cleophas could be having good ideologies, but he can't achieve them alone. He has to have the people, he has to have the other leaders surrounding. So Deputy has said that there's going to be accountability, and this is all geared towards ensuring we get positive results as far as Cleophas is concerned, as far as good direction of moving forward is concerned. We've not rushed to throw words. I appreciate the other leaders of UDA. They've not really rushed to, we are not tainting each other here. We are trying to understand, yes, if there was a mistake, then how do we correct it? I've always stated, as a leader, what is very key is always to identify the problem. And when you identify the problem, then it becomes easy to be able to put a solution. Yes, we agree there was a challenge, but we are saying we have put solutions and we want to move on so that this does not continue happening. The more it continues, the more we create problems, and we don't want to go to where Jubilee is right now. We do not have room, space, time, nothing. We do not have anything at this particular time because we are focused. The president is so much focused. We are on the finance bill. Look at where the economy is, and then to give room for us as a house to have issues, we have no time for that.
All right, thank you. Dan Mazo. Yeah, it's okay.
See, we don't have the inside information. We can just glean from what they say and what we hear there. Started by saying all UDA members in the coast are UDA. But that is true, but they are fighting. So there's a fighting in UDA. And it's just the UDA members, it's right. So UDA members at the coast are fighting. We don't have a party called UDA,
yeah. We have UDA.
Okay, UDA. Yeah.
How easily to roll off his tongue, let him be.
Let it be. Yeah. So let me accept that correction.
Yes.
That all UDA members at the coast are UDA members, but they are fighting. So there's an issue at the coast. Then we say party members have the right to voice their concerns. So there must be concerns, which they are voicing. We all know who Malala is. And then our colleague here comes and says he needs to know that all the UDA members are at the same level, and he needs to be inclusive. And he says, we hope we will make him grow to be what he should be. So he's not what they want him to be. I mean, this is all we say. Then the DP comes and says, yes, we can correct him quietly in the office, but when it comes to a certain point, we'll correct him publicly. So they must have been correcting him quietly. Now it is growing. Now they are doing it publicly. What is my summary? There's a problem in UDA, and the problem is around Malala. And whether Malala will grow to be the secretary they want while still holding office, or he may actually be out to be trained and come back to be a good secretary, we don't know. That is what I've got.
So his days in UDA as the general secretary.
But what is fair, Nibal, is that the president, who's the party leader, gives equal opportunity to everybody. Even me, I'm a new member, and I am still learning some of the things. So it doesn't mean because I've not had
all I'm saying, all agree, whether in experience, whether character, there is some doubt about Malala. And the president, in his magnanimity, will find ways of correcting this, whether we still secretary or whether he's out.
All right. Is all okay also with Wiper? We need to question also on UDA. But we need to we need to track where Malala came from as well.
Yes,
maybe the problem emanates from where the Malala came from.
In Wiper, the chairman, the vice chairman has consistently voted against their position. Consistently voted against the
deputy
Farah.
Oh, Mali.
The deputy chair.
He's not
Deputy
the vice chairman. The vice
Deputy-
chairman of the Wiper Party is Mutula
Is the
Kilonzo.
deputy party leader.
Deputy leader.
Deputy party
Party
leader.
leader, yes, has consistently voted against the party, and his
Where?
position
In
is
Parliament
very
or
clear
where?
in Parliament
Yes.
and
Even
even
this
outside.
bill.
I know you are wishing that he could join you, but I can assure you the Honorable Farah Malim is a very steadfast.
So what does that what does it tell you about the party?
We allow
Take a
him, we also allow him to make decisions according to his conscience and according to his religion. You know, he's a Muslim.
All right.
Muslims are very firm.
Okay.
when it comes to certain
All right.
stuff.
When we circle back, we want to take a short break. Now, which way, Raila? A probing question being asked about Raila Odinga and the resumption also of the protests this week. When it's